Välkommen till Aktiespararna och till Stora Aktiedagen här i Stockholm idag den 14 mars 2023. Mitt namn är Peter Malmström och jag kommer att vara moderator under den frågestund som följer efter presentationen av Peter Buhl Jensen som står här bredvid mig och bolaget Chosa Oncology. Det går också bra för er som lyssnar in att ställa era frågor och hur ni gör det kommer att framgå på skärmen som ni har framför er och jag kommer att se till att tillsammans med Peter ge svar på de frågor som ni ställer. Välkommen hit Peter, ordet och golvet är ditt. Varsågod.
Mange tak, og tak fordi jeg må komme her. Så jeg har forsøgt på svenska förut, och de svenskar som har hört mig, de säger att de förstår mitt danska ganska väl. Så jag tror jag vill försöka sådan som Peter säger, en melange med det blir en engelsk, dansk, svensk modell. Jag hoppas det är okej. Så Chosa är ett oncology selskab, som også vi hørte før. Det som er forskellen med CML, som vi hørte i foredraget før, og de produkter vi jobber med, det er vi jobber med de solide tumorer, de som er lungecancer, brystcancer, som ikke findes i blodet. Og de er ganske enkelt mere vanskelige at slå ned. De har haft mere tid at udvikle sig, de har mange mutationer, og der findes masser af problemer med at få hittet den sidste cancerceller. Så Chosa, I'll go English, we were listed on Spotlight here after a reverse merger with Rovac. You probably know Rovac, all of you. It was a very good shot on goal trying to develop a vaccine against prostate cancer, but that's extremely difficult and they didn't succeed. And we had the opportunity to go in, and I'm very grateful that this was possible because it also gave us, you can say, a lot of shareholders from Rovac that continue to be in the company, which is now Chosa Oncology. On the 11th of January, we did this reverse merger at 105 Swedish krona. Before it was at approximately 50 euro, so there was something to the shareholders, and yesterday it ended at 198. So what we do is we have a key cancer drug that we have two major upgrades on. So cisplatinum is a product that came like 50 years ago, and there's been tons of experiments trying to improve cisplatinum, and it's been very difficult. Some of the products have been quite good, but it was very difficult to beat cisplatinum. There are some serious side effects with cisplatinum. It's very toxic. It's toxic to the kidneys, it's toxic to the ears, and it's you have a lot of vomiting it's a sort of very nauseating product. So what we have is a liposome. So we put the product into a lipid bubble, almost like a ball, where the cisplatinum is inside. It's 100 nanometer only, so it's a very tiny product, but it's encapsulated in this lipid bubble. And it just has it sort of distributes different in the body. It's a thing we administer into the vein. So this is intravenous administration, and it has, because of this lipid bubble, it tends to concentrate in tumors. So there is some targeting around that. And then in addition, we have developed a test for who is actually going to benefit from cisplatinum. Because in solid oncology, sometimes it's only 1 in 3. In lung cancer, it may be 1 in 2 who actually benefits from a product. And it's very difficult to identify what to do with the patient. In essence, there are today more than 300 drugs approved for cancer treatment. And the doctor has actually quite a lot of you can say, challenge in what I'm actually treating the patient with if it only works in 1 in 4, but some of those products might work. What we have been lucky here to do is that I came from Oncology Venture previously, working with a professor from the Danish Technical University, and he had developed a mathematical model to identify who will benefit from cisplatinum. And that's 205 genes that we're looking at. And that's not really a task today. You can just look at the cancer biopsy and you can read the genes. And if those 205 genes there's like 100 good genes that we want to see and 105 genes we don't want to see. If that sort of equilibrium is good, the patient is sensitive to cisplatin. So that's all we do. That's basically develop the product with its response predictor, a new formulation which is less toxic, and then a response predictor. So that's basically what it's all about. Here's the summary. We are, as also Anna said before, we are also a very veteran team. I think we're more than 50, all of us, so it's a little boring, but it also works. We have developed 2 products before. So I'm a medical oncologist, and I'm lucky to say that I've had 2 products approved by the FDA in my previous. I do think I have a good sense of what is going to work. And this is also why we bought this product back from our old oncology venture. I don't know if you followed oncology venture previously, but this is like a management buyout from the company, which is now Alarity. So what we have is 2 things: an upgrade, we call it ICIP, which is both the cisplatin response predictor and also the cisplatin in a liposome. The next 18 months, we are aiming to basically discuss with the authorities to demonstrate what we have. We are publishing our phase 2b data, hopefully here at ASCO. This is a big cancer meeting in the US, the biggest that comes here in June. We have submitted our phase 2b data there, and we can see that there are opportunities here for breakthrough designation, but also definitely for partnering. And we are aiming for finding a partner now. We're kind of in a way where ROVAC wanted to be. If they'd been successful, they would have had successful phase 2b data. We have successful phase 2b data, and we are now ready to partner exactly as ROVAC was planning for. So the team, this is a very experienced team, and I'll just mention in the bottom Knut Smerud. He owns a clinical research organization. That's the organization that runs our clinical trials. So he's also investing into our company. I think that's quite unusual that a CRO company is part of a new drug development company. Cisplatin is one of the most used products. You know, Lance Armstrong, the biker, he had a testicular cancer and was cured. This was the key product for his cure. This is cisplatin. It's used in many cancers, in bladder cancer, lung cancer, in ovary cancer, in breast cancer, in mouth cancer, in head and neck cancer. And its use, even if it's 50 years old, its use is increasing, and that's because there is a synergy. There is a additional effect when you use it with the modern immunotherapies. So there has been a wave of new products coming in the last 10 years that actually activates our immune system to the cancers. And here they are being super activated when it's given together with cisplatin. So this is, we think, a very interesting time point to come up with a new formulation of cisplatin, a solution that solves 2 problems that there are 2 drawbacks. I mean, the efficacy of cisplatin is only 20 to 60% depending on the cancer you are treating. We can increase that by only selecting the patients that are sensitive, and then we have also solved some of the problems with the toxicity. So the DRP, the drug response prediction, what we can see is that we can identify 20% of the patients in breast cancer that will benefit very much from our cisplatin. And this is similar to a product that was launched like 10 years ago to Herceptin. I don't know if you heard about it, but it completely changed the outlook for the patients who had a HER2 gene in their breast cancer. And that basically blocked the HER2 gene, and the patients survived longer, and some of them were cured. 20%, if we didn't know, if we couldn't have found the HER2 gene, we couldn't have cured those patients. So it's also about identifying who will benefit from this product. We have a similar situation now. It's not one gene. We're looking at 205 genes, but that's not a problem with today's technology. So we can look at the biopsies. And here is a little bit, if you look at the left-hand side, no, it must be your right-hand side. Yeah, there is a publication that came out in 2021 showing that there are actually 900 genes in the cancer cell that is involved in cisplatinum resistance. And basically, what we are lucky to have is a patent on the 205 genes, and we are sure that we've found the most effective. It works. And so we have this advantage. This patent goes on to 38, and we have this advantage of identifying who will benefit from cisplatinum. We put it into a liposome, but it also works with cisplatinum if we don't put it in the liposome. But there are advantages with the liposome as well. So this is showing a little bit how it works. This is breast cancer patients. We are publishing more about this, hopefully here at ASCO in June. But this is, if you see at the utmost right-hand side are the patients with the highest DRP score. And they all have what is called a PR. That is a partial remission. That means that those patients' tumors have shrunk to less than half size. You say, okay, is that something? Yes, because those patients had received many, many therapies previously for their cancer. So they had received 6 to 7 previous therapies for their metastatic disease. So they have spread of their cancer. We cannot cure those patients, but we hope that we can prolong their life. We can only prolong the lives that are sensitive to our liposomal cisplatinum. And this is what we show here. If it's above 80, all the benefits are there. If we are below 67, we have a score between 0 and 100. If they're below 67, there's actually no benefit from the product. So we're now aiming to treat the top 20 of those patients with our product. We've shown similarly in lung cancer. This is also a huge disease, and it's only 20% of lung cancer patients actually go to surgery. It's just one of the worst cancers we can have. When they go to surgery, we know that we have to give them something additional. So they are being given cisplatinum after surgery, when it looks very good. These patients are stage 3, they've gone through operation, they have had all their tumor removed, apparently, but we know that if we don't give them chemotherapy after, many of them will die. And here we have looked at those biopsies and say, can we identify who actually has benefit of cisplatinum and who should have something else? And if they're in the top 10, we can see that the patients with a DRP score of 90, they have a 90% 3-year survival. If the DRP score is only 10, down at the lowest 10%, there is a 40% 3-year survival. So we basically clearly can identify patients here that benefit from cisplatinum and that should have the product. And also patients that should have something else. That's for the researchers to identify what to give them. We just know that we can find those patients that would benefit. So the liposome is that's basically this is a lipid bubble with cisplatinum inside, and it's designed so it opens when it reaches the tumor. There is a specific lipid composition. Also, very smart patented program. Here you see the liposomes. They are sort of lipid bubbles, 100 nanometers in size, and we have produced several batches that are in spec. So it's actually very good production. We need to scale up for you can say commercial use in the future, but this is for our partner to do. It works. And we've shown in mice and also in women and men that it works. And we've shown in mice, this is on the left-hand side, you can see that there is a better efficacy of the liposomal product than cisplatinum itself in tumor size. And we've also looked in biopsies of patients, and we could see that there is this targeting. So we see more cisplatinum DNA adducts in the patient's tumor than in her normal tissues. So we see less toxicity. I think one of the most important things with this liposomal formulation is that we have 37 women with breast cancer that have received many cycles of cisplatinum in our liposome, and we've seen no hearing loss. This is something that is a terrible problem, especially when if you are if you're having already hearing problems, and then you're having an additional hearing loss because you have a lung cancer and you need to have an additional cisplatinum. But also for kids tumors, there are certain kid tumors that are treated well with cisplatinum, but they lose their hearing and it's irreversible. It doesn't come back. So there is a lot of work in trying to protect those kids' ears from cisplatinum. And we just see that if we put into a liposome, we don't see that toxicity. So that has been a very sort of a very good development. In phase 1, we saw that it worked. This is a Matstrup cancer where it works. This is before we have the DRP. This is another situation. This is a skin cancer patient that had went through all kinds of surgery and radiation and chemotherapy. He went to the phase 1 unit. We gave him our liposomal cisplatinum, and after 6 cycles, he had such a nice result that he could go to the surgeon and have it removed. We saved his life with this product. ICIP, I mean, it's a product that has been on the way for a long time. The DRP is the new part. The liposome has been on the way. Totally invested all 345 million into the product until now. We have had some very nice developments with the ICIP. In 2016, the liposome showed activity in several cancers. In 2017, we got the CE mark for the you could say the DRP. In 2018, we showed that there was a good clinical benefit in patients. We had a partial remission in a patient who had never had a partial remission before. It was very good data. 2019, we got the IDE approval by the US for the DRP, again, that we can use the DRP. So we were basically, will the FDA accept that we have a 205 gene test that we really don't know why it works? It's kind of a black box, but it works, and they have accepted that. We have also got support from what is called a 505(b)(2). That means that the cisplatinum in the liposome is going to be easier approved by the FDA. And then we had this clinical study report that we have submitted to ASCO now. So the future, we certainly see that the breast cancer, the metastatic breast cancer where we are now is very interesting. The other part is, of course, the childhood cancer. If we can basically protect the kids' ears, we can continue to treat those kids with cisplatinum. We have those 2 developments. These are quite fast development times because we have very good data in breast cancer. We have very good data on the toxicity. If we look at sort of the future, it's obvious that there are more uses than for heavily pretreated breast cancer. This is for neoadjuvant breast and neoadjuvant lung. If we go into, say, this is where we can see that the real cure is an opportunity. We go into neoadjuvant breast cancer. This is a new way of treating breast cancer, that we give chemotherapy before the patient goes to surgery. That is, of course, because the chemotherapy gets better and better, because if it didn't work, the tumor would just grow and you had to do surgery fast. With ICIP, we can identify 20% of the patients that would benefit from our product, and we can add that to the existing chemotherapies that's given to the patient. So we believe that we can cure more patients by our test and our liposomal product, and add that to 20% of the breast cancer patients. It's kind of the same that we see in lung cancer. Here in March last year, lung cancer, the big company Bristol Myers Squibb had their product Opdivo approved together with cisplatin, because cisplatin increases the immune therapy. And 24% of those patients go into what is called a pathological complete remission. That means 24% of those patients, they clearly benefit from this combination. We can identify that population so that the other 76% can go to something else. And this is again where we see this is very old product, but very modern technology that can lift this product. Yeah, of course, there's a big market. I see I'm spending time now, so I have to go on. Here's a good market. We see the future. What we now have money for in 18 months is basically we are a very lean team. We're not having we're not doing clinical trials. We want to find a partner because we think we are ready to find a partner. And that's why we'll discuss with the authorities, we'll present our data, and we will look for partnerships. There are some partnership opportunities. There is a comparator here. This is Ipsen, a French company that bought a liposomal, another liposome with an old cancer drug, irinotecan. They bought that some years ago, and here in November last year, they demonstrated that this irinotecan in a liposome was beating the gold standard for pancreatic cancer. This is the bukspytkirtel cancer, and that's basically now you can say the $1 billion they paid for it is now being sort of value. So we have in oncology venture, there was an analysis by Edison on oncology venture on the Liplasis program with its response predictor, and this was prior to the phase 2 data that we now have that are positive. So we think we are in a good shape with the evaluation, and what we say is that we offer an opportunity to disrupt sort of anti-cancer treatment. We have a product that has successfully passed phase 2B, and we see some very nice value inflection points in the future. Yeah, thank you.
Tack för det, Peter. Spännande.
Tack, Peter.
Har hänt en hel del och kommer att hända mycket spännande framåt. Du talade lite grann om licens och partneravtal.
Ja.
Hur ska ni bygga upp en medvetenhet och en vetskap om era produkter? Hur gör ni det så att ni syns och hörs där ute?
Ja, det är en bra fråga. Så det som nummer 1 är att publicera och få publicerat, för det är också en validering av de här datan är blivit sett på av specialister. Så vi har skickat nu till stora amerikanska möte här i juni, ASCO, American Society of Clinical Oncology. Der kommer 30.000 läkare och alla läkemedelsbolag. Så vi försöker få möte där. Vi vill också entrera med en broker. Alltså vi ska ha någon fastighetsmäklare. Det är detsamma som en fastighetsmäklare, där vi ska ha någon som kan hjälpa oss, som har de riktiga kontakter till att få en deal. Men vi har också gjort deals förut, så vi har också ett gott erfarings in-house med vårt team.
Ja. Men är det först och främst och konkret Big Pharma som är intresserat, eller är det lite mindre bolag, eller hur kan vägen framåt se ut?
Där får man ju precisera sin målgrupp. Om nu så i Ipsen som jobbar med pankreascancer, bukspyttkirtelcancer, då må vi ju tänka oss till hur kan de använda ICIP till det. Och that makes sense. Bristol Myers, de gör lungcancer, och där kan vi se vad det är. Så vi ska tänka på the customer. What do they need? Not what we need. Men det är absolut också att det finns en rad mid-size pharma companies som kunde dra nytta av för ett produkt som är väldigt långt i en utveckling. Då, hvis man ser på deras pipeline, så har de måste behöva för något addition.
Okej. Hur mycket arbete, efforts skulle det vara för att bredda ICIP till fler indikationer? Kan man fortsätta att arbeta med det, eller är det stopp nu?
Nej, jag tror faktiskt att när jag pratar om neoadjuvant bröstcancer, det är ju någonting vi inte har gjort ännu. Där ska vi nu har vi varit i, man ser mycket tungt behandlade metastatisk bröstcancer. Så ska vi ha lov till att myndigheterna att ta det upp tidigare till de patienter. För där kan vi hoppas att vi kan kurera. Och om man börjar med att säga att vi tar 40 kvinnor som vi ger Liplasis, för de ligger högt, och om den uppnår en 50% patologisk komplett remission compared to 30 som man normalt ser, jamen där har man ju en väg framåt till en godkännelse. Man ska sannolikt genta sådan et studie. Det ska visas tungt, för det är väldigt många patienter som ska ha det. Och det är egentligen detsamma man kan göra i lungcancer. Och därför ska vi ha en partner som har muskler till de här olika möjligheter som man har med det här produktet.
Okej. Spännande. Lycka till.
Tack, Peter.
Tack för att du kom hit här och berättade för oss var ni befinner er, men framförallt vägen framåt. Ja, stort tack.
Tack.